Hi again, Constantine, the philosopher, back again. Today I was thinking to talk about something that I had in mind for a while. Stoicism, the importance of discipline, organizing, planning, order, and to get things done. It's something that I learned the hard way because without a father, my mother was very laissez-faire. Do what you want to do. Very nice, and my mother was excellent. Thank God, she was loving and. But without the father figure in the house, I like discipline. I was really a bad boy, doing bad things, stupid things. Uh, yeah, things I'm very proud. And it took me a long time to realize, because when you don't know, you just, if you don't know something you don't know, you keep doing it and you think, everybody else is wrong and, you do the right thing. So, yeah. So I spent pretty much I would say until like maybe, it took me a while to mature because, this behavior without organizing and discipline. I was kind of, was tidy. I was organizing my room and stuff, but there was a limit, very limited. And then, my schedule was complete disaster. I think that's when really, you can tell a person by two things. If you go visit the room in 10 minutes, you have an idea who they are, and also their schedule. If they're busy, if every day they do the same thing consistently, they have a rhythm, then everything, in the life is going to be successful. If everything is a mess, most likely, guess what? The life is a mess. It pretty much implies itself, Messy room, messy car, messy. Hello, guys. So anyhow, so that's how it took me a while to figure out. I think I got the memo. I think my early 40s probably. It slowly happened in the 30s. I think for guys maybe it's a bit slower. Hello. So so the idea is like I highly recommend for young kids, once you finish school, even as a teenager, start immediately organizing, planning your day, have a little schedule, don't overdo it, just do what you can. Like for example, have consistency in your, workout or your reading or your, your, like your homework, your work ethic, be consistent. And you don't have to go crazy. Like you start slow. You start, for example, like I said before, like you don't have to do do every day a couple of push-ups. Start with one, and then go for two, and then go for three, 4 or 5. You can go slowly. Look at this beautiful day. Here's insane today. It's karaoke all over. It's a Sunday, so bear with me. It's so beautiful though. I want to go closer, but it's gonna be too loud. Anyhow, so so have kind of consistently. You don't have to go crazy. Like me with the video, I have a good time, but sometimes I have no ideas. I don't know. I don't. Nothing comes to my head important to talk about. Like this video, I had in my head for like a week or two, and it still is disorganized. But I do what I enjoy. I just like to walk my dog. Luna. I like to walk at the beach. Enjoy the beautiful day, and talk to the people and give some advice. And hopefully, you learn something out of this. And sorry for my mumbling. I like to introduce where I come from. It's more my experiences. So the idea is like to slowly, what I do is like very simple. The trick is like you start with one thing. You start with, for example, let's say you want to lose weight, right? You start one thing. You say, okay, I'm going to start eating healthier. I'm going to start buying more vegetables. Hello. So you slowly, change slowly your diet. You clean up your clothes. You go to your kitchen. You clean up your, the sugar, the chocolates, or the nasty stuff. And you start, slowly. You don't have to go like, food. You don't have to go like kind of full vegan. You have to go slowly. So slowly, step by step, you change. Like for example, one day you say, one week you say I'm going to quit the Coca-Cola. Hello. The other week you say I'm going to quit the chips. So you see, you just put a little rhythm and things you can handle. Like things you think like you might not miss. You don't want to start with things that are you're very addicted to. Like let's say you love chocolate. So you start little by little. Small things, baby steps, and then eventually, hello, hi guys, and eventually, baby steps, things add up, and things become habit. After 30 times repetition, 30 times doing the same thing, you complete U-turn. You become a new person. But the thing is that you have to enjoy doing those things 30 times, and to do something 30 times, It takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of repetition, a lot of consistency, and have fun. It's not, it won't be, all peachy, it's kind of like reading. It's not all fun every chapter, but step by step, if you just read the chapter, the book is done, just one chapter at a time. Matter of fact, that's the same with reading, I didn't like reading much. For example, Stoicism that I want to talk about today. As a Greek, I'm ashamed because I went to a Greek school for a while and they taught this and I didn't pay attention because I was, like I said, a bad boy until, until late in my 30s, probably older than that. And I wasted my time. I learned so much from that. I learned from those guys like, masters, like, Marcus Aurelius. I mean, all these guys, one day I have to go to this book, I read this guy, the Daily Stoic, or his collection of books. He collected everything. So many beautiful books about Stoicism. I was completely blown away. I was like, oh my God. Those guys, you got to be ready for hardships. Life is not easy. Life is not easy. We know that. But we have a hard time dealing with it because we don't prepare. It's not preparation. Successful people, anything successful, it's preparation. It's no magic. You have to go like, win the lottery or something, or meet the right guy. No. To become successful in something, or to make something happen, you gotta be prepare. You have to prepare. It's kind of like studying. You gotta study your art. You gotta start your field. So every day, spend some time in things you care and you're good at, and beneficial for you and your health. So in every subject, in your your family, have a schedule. Be consistent. Unfortunately, I'm not good. I'm not good at that. I became good with my mother and with my sister, but the rest of my family are not very good. And and I used to be, So I have to, but you make a list of things, you have to work on. There's going to be like a billion things. You put the 10 things more important, and you start the most important thing, like I said earlier. Let's say your diet bothers you, you don't feel good in the mirror. You say, what can I do? I can do a couple of push-ups a day. Then you do 3 of them. Then you want to read a book, once, so you put a schedule, like say, okay, I can do twice a week, 5 minutes twice a week. That's good. Even once a week, but put a schedule. And the same, with everything. Like when I came here, I had a schedule for that too. Anything like immigration paperwork, dog walks, everything. When you're gonna eat, you can start fasting once a day, save money, better for your health. Boom, But it takes time. You don't have to go directly jump into it. If you want to, if you can, go for it. But you can go, baby steps, little by little. Choose one thing, and then guess what? Once you understand, how to do it with one thing, and you master it, you understand like how the rhythm works. It's like when I quit smoking. Guess what? Everything else became easy. Became vegan was like walk in the park. So it's not like it's gonna be automatic. Everything simple, but it's much easier because you learn the process. It's all pretty much a simple process. It's organizing, planning, and following a schedule. Successful people, that's what they have. That's why they have all like, 15 minutes, like Bill Gates, 5 million, phone calls, or 10, 10, 15 minutes. There's no time to waste, Life is short. Put it together, organize. The sooner the better, so you save time. Because otherwise you're gonna be left behind. If you go party too long, and your schedule is out of whack, left and right, random stuff, distractions, happy hours, too much, like here, karaoke, it's nice, but if you do it all day, if you get drunk all the time, there's no benefit. It's okay to do it occasionally, once a week, whatever. Put a schedule for that too, Unless you're a professional, maybe I don't know how it works here, but that's what it comes down to, Everything in life, like Socrates says, with balance, I think it was I don't know, Metro Ariston, Anyway, meter, the rhythm is the best. Have a tempo. I don't know if it's him or Aristotle, but anyway, I think it's Socrates or Plato maybe. Anyway, but the point is like this, look at this. I can enjoy a nice walk. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Like yesterday I was sick, I was like, what? It's okay, I'm not going to push to death. But today I felt like, this is the day, I have to come back and, find a subject that interests me, and I felt that this is it, and I went back and boom, And later I have to do my music and my art, I do street art too, I'm going to come back to my art, and have a little rhythm, every day, 1 hour here, 1 hour there. You can break in little chunks, You don't have to do all of it. You can do maybe every 2 days. So for me, for example, I give you an example of my schedule. One day, you wake up every day, 6, 7 a.m., that's me, Some people like to wake up at 10, Other people at 3 a.m. Go for it, But number one, get a nice sleep, at least 7 hours or 8. People who sleep like, Elon Musk, I don't recommend, 3 hours. I mean, the guy went crazy. He's no good. And I have a friend who got sick for that. It will catch up with you, so don't do that. But if you can do it, I mean, go for it. But I don't recommend. I would say 7, 8 hours. Hello? How are you? And then eat healthy, I would say fast, once a day eating is good enough. A good meal, a small maybe in between. I don't do that. I cheat, so I have, because, my wife cooks all the time. So I get 2-3 meals very nice, but I try and keep it, all together so it's easier to digest. Then, enjoy this view, by the way. A nice walk with the dogs. It keeps you young, I mean, the dogs saved my life, Not only they make me vegan, like I said in the other video, but they also make me walk every day. Appreciate this, appreciate these nice walks on the sun, in the parks, even in LA, which was like, there was no such a beautiful place. I mean, it's nice, LA has beautiful, hills, I don't know what it is. The Hollywood Hills. It's beautiful. So we take the dogs there, beautiful. But here, look, every day you walk the dog, every day you read a book, a few pages. Every day you look for AI, something that interests you, a subject. I like AI, So I research, a few moments. I feel like, maybe 1 hour. So 1 hour here, 1 hour there. The day is gone. Very busy, very exciting. Sorry guys, I have to share with you this beautiful, look at it, paradise. Look how beautiful. And then, so every day pretty much what I do to keep it consistent, I go to my Google Calendar and I put the things that have to be done. And I put, for example, at the beginning when I start something, I would say I would put every Monday, Wednesday, do music, and I put the time range, and the same with other fields. And once I automatically, after you get used to it, like brushing your teeth, you remove from the list, and then you have new things, So it's very easy. Then it's like you always squeeze things in between. It's like the book that I read about Atomic Habits. It's the same thing. It's about you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just squeeze things in between. You enjoy something, like you take a nice walk, and then you do a little workout, or a little reading, So a little hard thing, a little easy thing. So for example, I would do coding, right, for a few hours, and then I'll put the laundry, or walk the dog, a little, kind of like a little reward. So, but I benefit, So it's like something fun, and it just distracts me. It's something easy to digest. But then I go back to something more complicated. Or another thing I do, another trick is I will start from easy tasks. So I would do, like, for example, say I have a lot of projects, I would do the easy thing so I can feel like I'm doing something. So I go in the rhythm. So when I have like let's say an art idea, I will start something easy, like a musical. I will go to music, maybe AI, to get ideas for fun, so I can just be in the rhythm, or go to my machine, my music gear, and play around with it or organize. So I start smooth. I don't have to go crazy. I don't have to jump in, panic, like, oh my God, I have to start doing music. I have no idea. I don't have to panic. So, but everybody is their own rhythm. That's me, Other people like to dive in, go full, go for it. But if you cannot, and most people, unfortunately, 99% don't know how to do it, I would say baby steps, Like the movie, What About Bob? Baby steps. That's the trick. Small steps, and they lead to bigger ones, and eventually, it's automatic, and then success is next. There's no doubt. 99%. I would tell you, just put a schedule. I guarantee you, money in the bank. Same with finance. It's like, they say compound interest. Every month, educate yourself. 1 hour, spend one hour a week. Educate yourself with stock, financing, whatever, whatever you like. Like put money in the bank, clean up your finances, organize, clean your debt, whatever, You can do so many things. It never ends. It's small things, It's pretty much, the fear is that we don't know what to do because there's so many things. And there are so many subjects we don't understand, like AI, or maybe finance, or maybe fasting. So what do? We introduce ourselves. We buy a magazine first. So the first time you just buy a magazine about fasting, right? Or you just read a blog, and then you introduce yourself, you get familiar, and after, guess what? 10 reads, 20 reads of articles, you got it. That's it. And then you can start doing it. And you practice and you test. Like me with this video, I saw a few vloggers. I had in my mind for years now. And I was like, I can do this, it's easy. I mean, it's fun because I like to talk a lot. I used to talk to my mother, like I said, every day about philosophy and nonsense. From 15-year-old, I was, probably younger than that. I was just talk to her 2 hours about, my theories, and I realized like I can share this information, with the world, but I didn't find the right place at the right time. So sometimes you have the idea, and you have to just, wait for the, you prepare it. You don't have to immediately take action. You have to just prepare, take your time, and the time comes, and then boom, you execute. So you start executing. You don't have to be immediately like running the marathon. Just go for a walk first. Do some weight, walk the dog. Clean up your closet. I don't know. Buy some nice shoes. Running shoes. Step by step. You don't have to go immediately. Straight to the marathon. Hello. And that's my few, 2 cents. And it works. That's where it works. I did it for many things. And another thing I said, like my other videos where I say, you should check out some of the other ones about like just take action. Once you have the schedule, then you see it's about executing. Execution. Don't worry. It's like me. I'm sweaty. I don't have a t-shirt on. That's me. You have to go like me. You might think I'm crazy. Well, that's me. You have to be fair to yourself. Other people like to be with a tuxedo. Other people like to be with leather jackets. Respect to my man, Rogan. I'm sorry. I forgot the name. Jack Rogan. I forget. Sorry, man. Sorry, I'm so into my thinking. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about, the red leather jacket. I don't approve you better be vegan leather jacket. Anyhow, so anyway, what I'm saying is that you have to always, I mean, like, what's his name? Jordan Peterson said that, right? About organize your house, organize your room. The 12 steps, it's organizing. Organizing discipline, Stoicism. Read the books about Stoicism. There's this guy who made this book, Daily Stoic. I can put the information below if you want. Send me a message. And all his books are amazing. I read half of them and they are amazing, amazing. I mean, the information from those masters. And there's another thing. If you don't know something, to introduce yourself, to make it simple, find something that interests you. Somebody who's master and explain, like this guy. It's a good way to introduce yourself in Stoicism and to discipline. And there are other ones in finance. You're going to come to a lot of noise and a lot of garbage, but you'll figure out, if you just, it's kind of testing the water. You test, one beach. Let's say you go to Malibu Beach, you go to Santa Monica, you go over there, and then you realize, hey, I like that beach better, so you go to the Monterey or whatever, you just test the waters. You don't have to do the waters that I do or, or your cousin does. You find your own waters and you execute at your pace. It's about you, it's about you, and you have to be fair to yourself. Don't let anybody tell you what is, what's, what is what, you know what your limits are. Some other people can do, maybe a marathon, triathlons, whatever you do, your small marathon, whatever, like maybe you just go for a walk. Bam. Good for you, and that's what I'm talking about. Anyhow, if you have any questions, if I can help you more one-on-one or whatever, or feel free to send a message, call me. I'll be glad to help, I mean, that's why I'm here. And I can probably give you more specifics. Sometimes I mumble around all the place like a philosopher. That's what I do. Anyhow, nice talking to you. Here's Luna. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care now. And take a look at this beautiful day in Philippines. Oh my God. I think I put my head turning the camera. Enjoy the view. Enjoy the dog. Luna, how was the walk? Huh? What do you think? Yeah, snip the microphone. Take care now. See you on the next one.